Welcome to the Heat Check, and this is the segment where we talk about the hottest names in the stock market. So we have 5 names for you guys that are provided from our community, and I'm bringing them to you guys. We're going to look at things from a fundamental basis, if applicable, a technical basis, and a social sentiment basis to kind of get an idea of why these names may be hyped up in the market, right? What's going on with them, and if, most importantly, if there is a good trade here, either long or short, doesn't matter, but if there is a good risk balanced trade, I guess I should say, that we may be able to take advantage of with some of these names. So today, we've got 5 names for you. We have ONDS, MRNA, BBAI, Sofi, SOFI, and RUN, Run. So we're going to start here first with ONDS, and this is a name I just learned of, so bear with me here. But this is a drone company that currently sits at about a 400 million market cap. So smaller company, so you could have a little bit of an exaggerated move. So when we look back on the past of this company, all-time high in this company was about $16 back in 2021, so probably one of these COVID-y, hypey names. Has built a longer-term base here, and just for context, this is the monthly chart. Has built a long base, or rather just been kicked around in the dirt here, fluctuating around $1. Saw a little bit of volume here at the end of 2024, and now actually just hit its highest volume ever on this monthly chart here with this monthly candle that closes today. So very interesting to see. Currently up about 19%, so I assume there's some sort of news going on with this. A few analyst upgrades, appointing a new CFO. Outside of that, not much to see right now, but it isn't a very hyped sector. We've seen a lot of money flow into these drone companies, right? Joby's another name that I personally like quite a bit. And this is, again, full transparency, not a name that I've personally heard of. So some of you may have heard about it and may be interested in it. That being said, this gap up day is pretty strong. You are far outside of the Bollinger Bands here on the daily. However, there is a decent momentum here. You have a decent push here from the 23rd until today to the upside. MACD's starting to flip here. Your RSI is a little hot, but not too hot. So we are indicating pretty bullish momentum here. If I want to get in on this trade, if I was bullish on this trade, I would want it to come down to this 205, 206 area and kind of consolidate there first before going long. I feel if you get in today, again, unless there's some sort of outstanding news catalyst I'm unaware of, which I couldn't see here in my news tab, you might be chasing something here. I mean, you're already up 20%, which is pretty wild. But you could be chasing something here. So if you do like this name, you did leave a little bit of a gap behind as well. So I would wait for a retest down in this like lower 200 area before going long. You're also going to come into some level of resistance around this $2.23, which you can already see on the daily here, where rejecting. Now, again, a lot of volume here. So there's a lot of interest around this name. Recently broke the 200 MA on the daily, pushing up hard. And you can see right here in real time how it pushes against this Bollinger Band on the daily, rejected lower, kind of cooled off before getting another pop here. So we could see a similar move where it grinds up another few days before getting shut down again. So I just be very careful of these kind of momentum names. With that being said, if we look over at the options chain, I'm going to guess it's pretty thin. Again, it's not a company I've heard of. Very, very high IV, which let's see. IV percentiles at a 92. So right now, buying options on this company are 92% more expensive than it has been for the last rolling 52 weeks. So very, very, very expensive to be on the buy side of options. So if you do like this company and you want to take an option stab at it, maybe consider sell side options trade, something like a credit spread or even selling options like covered puts, cash secure puts, I should say, to take advantage of a bullish push on this name and higher IV levels, because you make more money when you sell contracts with a high IV percentile. You also have a high HV, so this can work for or against you. HVs are historic volatility, so how aggressively, I guess, the stock has been moving lately versus its past price action. So it's saying that it's a very volatile name with higher IV than usual. So if you are looking to buy options on this name specifically, you want to be extremely careful. And if you're looking to sell options, that might be a more attractive thing where you could still get an upside move. Now, if you want to take a directional stab, like I said, doing a call debit spread would put you in the position where you need IV to expand. So perhaps a put credit spread would be a better idea, or selling just cash secure puts in general if you want to take advantage of this name, or straight up shares. If you like this name, sitting around, again, that $2 area is where I would look for a long, letting this move cool down a bit, kind of consolidating there, making a new base, making this area here, basically from 184 to $2, that old resistance, right? You see rejection, 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 making that old resistance new support. That's where I would find the opportunity on this name if you want that kind of drone exposure, because it does have momentum, it has volume, it has a decent setup here to the upside. You kind of have a big old cup here, arguably a handle, not really a handle, but kind of looking like it could push down here, at least near term. So watch that there around that $2 area. Next name is Moderna, MRNA. I'm sure a lot of you guys know this name going all the way back to COVID. This was a hot name, all-time high at $497.49, currently trading $27 with a market cap of $10 billion. If you can believe it, this was like a $200-300 billion company at one point. Crazy. And now we're down in the doldrums here. At $27. Now, they recently got approval for a flu vaccine, I believe. Yes, so they got recently approval, and if you don't know, this is a biotech company. They got approval for a vaccine for the flu, which is great for them, or I should say positive phase 3 results, which isn't approval, which is a good sign for the company. It's a good sign for approval, and obviously more drugs they have approved, the more money they can make. So good overall. Now only up 2% on the news. It was up higher pre-market here. But I don't hate this name. It's getting a lot of social media hype for the last few days here, coming up to the phase 3 trials, which isn't abnormal for a biotech company going into a trial, or at least the potential announcements of results, and now getting a lot of hype over those results. I don't hate it here. Even if you were to take a stab here and risk basically this 213 low, you're only risking about I mean, it's not great. You're risking about a $4 downside, but the upside here is pretty tremendous, and I do believe actually that MRNA could be a buyout target longer term. Now, right now it's sitting about $10 billion, so pretty pricey. But again, this company has been beat down incessantly over and over and over again. It's at the point where it's got to get a counter rally here, in my opinion. If you look here, just on the monthly chart, even if, I mean, we can count that candle. We'll go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 red monthly candles in a row. If you excuse this one green candle, you almost make it a full year of just downward momentum. Now, with that being said, if we zoom in here on the monthly, you're starting to notice a flattening out. So every time we see, how do I say this? Stocks move parabolically. That's why I love the SAR indicator so much. You know, every time we see a stock nosedive and it starts to round out, you typically get some level reversal. Same thing when we get a hard push to the upside, you start to round out before coming back down. You're starting to see that rounding out happen here. Now, some people could argue some level of a bear flag or whatever, where a hard move down, sideways consolidation. Typically, you have a more of an upward trajectory on a bear flag, because right now you're just kind of consolidating at these lows. I actually really don't hate MRNA here. I think for a name that's been hyped and has had hype in the past, that you actually have a unique proposition here at this level, if you like biotech names, where again, you're risking, if you want to risk basically $23, about a $4 drawdown for, I mean, depends when you're happy. You still have this gap to fill here at, what is this, 129? So your risk to reward here can be, if you're patient, phenomenal. With that being said, stocks don't fall from the heavens for no reason, right? I believe this was just a product of COVID and it being super, super hype. We've seen other names like this, like Peloton, shot to the moon and come crashing down. But this is one of those names that does intrigue me because it's not like they don't have a business or don't have any interest. And it's not like they're not doing anything. Now, this would require a deeper dive on my part before going long, but I at least see a valid case here from a technical perspective. And when I say technical perspective, I say a risk to reward perspective, I guess I should say, that the lows for how much I could make on the high end are worth it. It's been consolidating down here for about 2 months or so. It's been farting around here. It didn't make a new low. In fact, it's trying to make new highs. It's not really getting there, but it's trying to push up here to some degree. And if we zoom in here on the daily, we recently broke a red SAR here, so it's possible we could get a little bit of momentum here. If you do want to be uber patient, wait for this 30-30 level to crack. So that's this localized high here, so the high of this little base level. On that break, you should feel a little bit more confident on going long there. You do also have this gap to fill here. Again, micro gap here at 3102, so just a few pennies higher than that. Once you get over that 30-30, breaking that 3580, can lead to some tremendous upside move depending on where the 200 MA is there at that point in time. So this is one of those names that where if you're an investor, I think it'll be good. I wouldn't necessarily touch it on the option side of things. So do with that information what you will. Next ticker, BBAI. BigBear, what is this? Yeah, BigBear AI Holdings. This is an AI stock that I was long multiple times. I'm currently not long. I have no position. And the main reason why I was long it, I'll show you here, this thick orange line here that I drew, was this downtrend break. That was the most interesting thing I had in this company that I was watching. And the downtrend broke. Whoops, I got to get all that out of there. The downtrend broke and, here, let's go like that. Well, you know where the downtrend was. Downtrend broke and had a hard pop here. Look at this volume here on this month. I would warn you. Okay. Now this is going to be the product of that whole conversation. If you're watching this on a recording, go back to today's stream. We had a whole conversation on IWM and basically short positioning. But I would warn you to be very cautious on a name like this. It has momentum. It's got a lot of, I want to call it thrust almost, like a lot of momentum. But that momentum can get shut down here around like this mid-7 area. And this momentum could be fueled by a lot of shorts closing out. This was, I should say, a highly shorted name. It's currently sitting at a $2 billion market cap, so it is on the smaller end. So these bigger moves aren't abnormal. But with how much volume we're seeing here, like this is a big volume move, big break here, after, pretty hard drop. I just would be very trepidatious on, especially opening a new long, on a name like this. It feels like I want to say it feels like it's been squeezed, especially today. You're definitely going to be chasing. Without looking, I'm going to assume our IV percentile is very high. Wow, it's actually shorter. It's lower than I thought. The IV percentile is only 67, so it's actually not that bad. HV percentile is actually not that bad either. It's actually astonishing to me. I thought that was going to be much, much higher. If you do like a long in this name, I would wait for it to come back and consolidate above 617, or even it may even drop down to 536. Let it come down, let it cool off. I'm not saying there isn't another leg here, because this is really high volume, but this feels indicative of some level of short covering, unless we had some sort of news that I missed, which I don't think we did. It's being pumped on like, Motley Fool and all these other websites. Typically, that's not a good sign unless you're already long and you're riding that wave. So they're trying to sell this stock to the normies, it feels like, if you know what I mean. So I would just be very, very careful with BBAI. Again, I don't want to deter you from making money. You do whatever you want to do here. It's strong. It's a momentum name. If you keep your wrist tight, God bless, make your money. But I would be more cautious. Now, this doesn't mean I want to short a name like this. I don't want to be short anything AI in general. Really, that's me personally. Because what happens when you're short AI is you get squeezed a lot of these times where these companies don't make money, yada, 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 valid short thesis. And then if the market squeezes, then guess what? You're on the wrong side of the coin. You're going to have a bad time, especially with volume. So I believe this is some level of a short squeeze here. If you're catching it today and you're looking at it today, you might be late to the party. I don't want to deter you. You could have another leg here to get to this like mid-7s area. But I would be more, if I wanted to take a long, I'd be more comfortable taking a long in between 536 and 617, and I just would not short this name at all. This is, in my opinion, a momentum play. You had a hard break again from that monthly downtrend. You had already had a hard move up. You came back down. You back tested it, and now you're pushing again on the highest volume ever on this name. Not something you want to be on the short side of. And if you already missed the boat, you could be chasing it. So either way, in my opinion, this is a no play. So I would just stay away from BigBear AI. My 2 cents. You do you. Remember, we talk about things from a risk perspective. So sometimes things just may not fit just from a risk perspective. It's not me being bearish. It's not me being bullish. It's just, hey, man, it's too risky for me. You do you. You like it, great. Might fit your risk profile. But for me, a little too risky. Another name that's very, very hot on social media right now is Sofi. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of this name. Sofi is a financial fintech company, and it is just going parabolic. Look at this curve here. Just boop, 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 boop. It's going. And again, this is another one where it's a high momentum name. I'm looking for a rejection around 924 to 985. So I do think it's got another buck in it. So if you're already long this name, congrats. You made a solid move, especially in the last few weeks. But I believe you're going to get a decent rejection pretty soon. I think this is going up too hard, too fast. I mean, just look at this. 623. So 7 days ago, this was at 1450. So you appreciated about $4 in a matter of a few days here, which may not sound insane, but for a company that right now is 20 billion, was that 4, 8, 12, 16? You're talking about they gained 25% of their market cap, roughly. I'm just doing rough math, in 5 days. Not something I want to long, me personally. I do like a short, and I will take a short on SoFi if it taps in between this name, because it's getting very parabolic. It's going straight up, and stocks do not move like this. They will short term, whatever. You can see it push up very, very hard here. If it gets, at least today, or gets one more candle up here, that is going to be a prime short for me with very low risk, at least in my opinion. Some of you may not like that because you're long SoFi, so instead of getting upset about it, maybe hear it from a point of view of, oh, I made a lot of money on SoFi. Maybe I should de-risk somewhere around here. Anytime you're outside of the Bollinger Bands, anytime on the daily, I should say, anytime you're gapping up basically consistently, which, not really gapping up, but you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green daily candles in a row. Today you're up 7%. You're getting a decent squeeze here on SoFi. And I'm not necessarily saying short squeeze. I'm just squeezing stock price. Again, gaining about 25% of its market cap in like 5 days is insane. Now, it's not to say it can't go higher, of course, but I believe the risk to reward would actually favor the bears here. Again, waiting until this key area, this 924 to 985 area, use your shorter term technicals. So use your 1, your 5 minute, your 30 minute, get an idea of where to get a decent entry, but that's actually where I'd look too short. I would not long SoFi up here. I believe there could be an opportunity from a short from this mid-19 area down to the 1791. If that doesn't hold, it has a lot of room to fall here for another buck or two, so keep that in mind. But if it can consolidate and hold north of the 1791, after getting into this 19 range, then you can potentially look for a long if you can consolidate there. So there is a case here both ways, but I like the risk to reward for the bears here on SoFi. You just have to be a patient bear to wait for that prime opportunity to take that short if that is something you are interested in. Last and not least is Run. Now, this is a company I've made a lot of money on. This is Sunrun. They're a solar company. And I've made a lot of money on this stock because it is volatile like crazy. Crazy pump up here on the 8th of last month. Big move up. Hard move down. Then we gapped down. I want to say it was like 40-50%. It was a crazy gap down all the way to like $5. Hard grind up again. Gap down again another 40-50% here. Let me delete that. Gap down again another 40-50% here. Now grinding up again. Very, very interesting chart. I'm seeing a lot of people talk about it on social media in general. Volatility on this is just going and going and going. I'm very curious to see if we just repeat this pattern again, honestly. This chart tends to get hammered because they keep mentioning news about like the solar credit bill like not being sponsored or whatever anymore. And every time that happens, death and death. And I'm waiting for it to happen one more time. Now, if it can hold this 545, which was the low here until that previous 538 tap on that gap down, it's a decent long opportunity in my opinion with a tight risk. You have a ton of volume here on the monthly, and it does look like it actually wants to reverse and hold basically that 535, 545 area pretty strongly. Like I said, that is your low here from going back to 2018. And when I see something like that with companies like this, I have to think to myself, okay, this company's been around now, and they had their COVID pop or whatever. This company's been around now from 2018, almost, 5, 6, 7 years? It's been around for 7 years, and this stock was evaluated roughly at the same price. It's like, depending on where you bought it, $7. 7 years ago. What has changed since then with this company? What is it looking like now? And in my opinion, this company has made improvements since 7 years ago. So at a similar stock price as it was 7 years ago, why would I not buy it now? Food for thought. Now, again, you can have the argument of, well, if the solar tax credits go away, then this company makes no money, blah, 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 etc. There's always a risk and a reward to every side of trading. How I look at it as if this company has improved over the time, if I can get a pristine entry, which again, I've bought and so I've traded this name. I've not longed this name as an investment. I like this name as an investment if it can stay above this 545, 538 area. Ultimately, 508 is like where I'm willing to risk. So I do like a long here if it comes back down because I want to see if we get another one of these crazy gap down days, and that's as long as it's over that 508 area, that's where I'm interested in a potential long on Sunrun. Not a name I would short. It's pretty strong. And this company, when it gets those gap downs, people love to short the bejeebus out of it. And as you can see here, it gets these crazy pops because people are short it. It gets any inkling of like slightly bullish news on rare earth minerals helping or the cost of solar being cheaper or whatever, and shorts flee like crazy. So that's kind of what I'm looking for here. One more hard drop on this name, and I like a long here. I do not like a short here just because the risk reward isn't there. A drop here to the downside, which it could start to round out here and drop again. But it's just, I don't like the risk reward here. You're too low in general, and this isn't even pumped up as much as it could be. Like, there's hype behind this name, but the hype isn't really as much as it really could be on this name. So I don't hate run. In the near term, I would wait for a lower push down here, some level of retracement before going long. But it's not a name I would short either. All right, guys, that was the heat check. I hope you enjoyed that segment. We got 5 hot names for you. Again, those names are ONDS, MRNA, BBAI, SOFI, and RUN. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor, like and subscribe and comment, and we'll see you next time.